I'm Jessica, by the way. I want to share my experience in my dorm. It was late when I finished washing clothes, maybe around 6 p.m. Our laundry is on the rooftop. The laundry area upstairs is wide, and that's where we hang our clothes. That time, my friend Sarah and I were doing laundry together, but the place where she washed clothes is far from me. We have other colleagues who have just finished doing laundry, so there are a lot of hanging clothes and blankets. While I was hanging up my clothes, I noticed a pair of feet standing in rows of hanging clothes and blankets. I just don't care. Because what I was thinking is that maybe it's just our colleague who hasn't finished washing yet. I talked to the person I saw standing on the clothesline. I'm surprised because it doesn't answer. I noticed that she was not wearing slippers. Just stood there and didn't move. I can't see the body because it's covered by hangings, but I can only see the feet. That's when I started to feel strange, like something wasn't right. I was confused. I yelled at her to stop the intimidation because I thought she might just be tripping. Here in our dorm, when someone tries to scare you, they will scare you. And when they succeed, they will laugh at you. Their work here is just for fun. I breathed a sigh of relief when she walked away to the row of clothes at the end. I followed her, looking where she was going. Until she had passed the end of the clotheslines, I waited for her to pass so I could recognize who was doing the laundry without wearing slippers. It's terrible to trip, even though I yelled at her, she still doesn't pay attention to me. But when she passed the hanging blanket, I was very surprised because no one went beyond that. Also lost a pair of feet that I saw there. I ran to Sarah and pulled her off the rooftop. She couldn't do anything but come with me, and the question of why was constant, so I yelled at her to shut up first. When she got quiet, we heard someone walking down the stairs. So we both got scared and went down first and entered our room. We were so out of breath that we huddled together on my bed. We looked at each other and asked, "Who ran?" But she had more questions than me because I suddenly pulled her down. I thought they were just stories about a pair of feet on the rooftop chasing the dormitories. I proved that they weren't joking, so I told Sarah that I saw a pair of feet without a body on the rooftop. That's the reason why I pulled her down, because of fear. She hit me on the arm because she was afraid of such things. We told the other dormitories what happened. Each of them has their own story about their experiences. One of which is Nancy. She said the pair of feet was not only experienced on the rooftop, but also in the bathroom where they were taking a bath. She said that she entered the shower room alone and the curtain was the only barrier. In the shower area, when you are taking a bath, you can really see it when you are taking a bath with someone. We're all girls in the dorm, so it's okay to shower together. There are many baths there, it's just a shower and the barriers are just a curtain, it's only pulled when taking a bath, so there's a barrier. Sister Sandra heard someone walking and going next to her bath because her eyes were closed while soaping her face. She said she waited for the curtain to be closed and the shower to be turned on. But she didn't hear anything, so she hurriedly rinsed her face to check the other bath to see if someone came in. On the opposite side of her curtain, she saw a pair of feet just standing there in the other bath. The curtain is so thick that the human body cannot be seen when it is blocked. She just asked who entered and if she is going to take a bath, but she is not being answered. Because of her curiosity, she opened the curtain and was surprised because no one was there. And the pair of feet is gone. She quickly ran back to the room, even though she hadn't rinsed properly. While she was running, it seemed as if someone was chasing her. She could hear footsteps chasing her. She didn't want to turn around because she thought maybe the feet were following her. So she sped up running. They said it was good and their room was close to the shower. So when she entered, she immediately closed the door and locked it. Because of her story, Sarah and I got even more scared. We almost screamed in fear while Sister Sandra was telling a story. From then on, Sarah and I will always be with each other, wherever we go, even if we just go to the kitchen. One day, Sarah and I showered together. We used the shower room next to each other. Because we are both scared, we chatted constantly and talked to each other to distract ourselves and get our minds off what could happen. We also played music on Sarah's cell phone, so we couldn't hear other noises. Apart from that, I guess we did everything just so we couldn't think or feel the ghost's foot. But after a while, the music on the cell phone suddenly stopped and started playing. Sarah was annoyed because she liked the music, but suddenly it stopped. That's why she constantly complains, because the signal is weakening. I just let it go and continue to take a shower. Then, what Sarah did was sing. Then suddenly, the curtain at the far end of the bath was pulled back. Opening it was like anger. Because, suddenly, it was as if she wanted to pull the curtain. So, I told Sarah to stop singing. Then Sarah asked who entered the bath at the end. But no one answered. I told Sarah, don't talk to her anymore, but she was naughty and she didn't stop, so what I did was I sped up the shower. After a while, the curtain next to the end suddenly opened, until the curtains were pulled apart. The next one was in Sarah's adjacent shower room. Sarah and I both screamed. I even told her to hurry up in the shower. Because I was done, I immediately hung a towel, then I took my clothes. I called Sarah to let us go out and just get dressed in our room. I kept calling her name, but she didn't answer. I can see her feet inside the shower room. So I told her to hurry up. Later, I heard a loud knock on the door. She seemed to want to get me out of the shower room immediately. I was wondering, because it was Sarah who was calling me outside. She even told me to carry her cell phone because she left it in front of the mirror. I was so surprised how Sarah got out without me noticing and who was inside the shower room. I suddenly thought of opening the curtain. When I opened it, I saw the broken feet up to half of the thigh. I ran quickly out of the bathroom. I saw Sarah waiting for me outside. She was talking to me, but I ignored her. As long as I ran back to the room, she followed me. And then, she asks where her cell phone is. I can't speak anymore, because I'm out of breath and scared. I just shook her head, and she was very annoyed with me, because I left her cell phone in the comfort room. Because of my anger, I yelled at her. I said,
"Go back in there and get your cell phone."
I never asked her how she got out of the bathroom, and she even left me inside the comfort room alone. I really thought she was with me. So it's also a puzzle to me who is singing. Good thing, someone used the bathroom, and kindly returned the cell phone. I suddenly thought of opening the curtain. When I opened it, I saw the broken feet, up to half of the thigh. I ran quickly, out of the bathroom. I saw Sarah waiting for me outside. She was talking to me, but I ignored her. As long as I ran back to the room, she followed me. And then, she asks where her cell phone is. I can't speak anymore, because I'm out of breath and scared. I just shook her head, and she was very annoyed with me, because I left her cell phone in the comfort room. Maybe because of fear and too much imagination, I also started to dream of the walking broken feet. It always chased me, until I reached the rooftop. She came closer and closer to me. I could only see her feet, but I couldn't look up from her knees to the top of her body, as if something was preventing me from looking at her top. When it comes near me, and I look at it, it will suddenly walk to the rooftop, then jump there. I always cry, and when I wake up, I feel tired every time I wake up. As if we were chasing each other with a pair of feet. Repeatedly, until my body also gave in. I'm getting sick because, sometimes I don't want to sleep. I might dream about that pair of feet again. I always had a fever, so Mom took me home. Sarah temporarily came home with us too, because she didn't want to be left alone, in the dorm. But, even when I'm at home, I still dream about the pair of feet. Every time I'm awake, I can see her, just standing on the side. Mom is also worried about what's happening to me, because I'm always hysterical. When I see it in the morning, I burn with a fever, and at night, I get hot. I feel like I can't sleep because when I sleep, I will dream about the phantom foot again. Mom also sent me to see the doctor, but all my laboratory tests were normal. I was just given vitamins to make my body stronger. They said I was stressed and couldn't sleep, so Mom took me to another doctor. They sent me to Mom Carol, who is a faith healer. When Mom Carol came to the house, I don't know why, I feel strange. I'm afraid of her. I feel like I want to send her away. I even whispered to Mom to send the faith healer home, because I don't need her. But Mom got mad at me, so I didn't do anything. I let it go, but I didn't really go near the faith healer. The heat I feel for her seems to raise my blood towards her, as if someone is whispering to me to push her. But I'm just holding back, because Mom will scold me. When the faith healer entered the house, when she opened it, she said that her foot hurt, like it was being pricked, as if she was being pricked while walking. So, she immediately sat on the sofa. When she sat down, she immediately raised her foot, because something scratched her. I didn't see anyone next to her seat or on her side. When she showed us her leg, there were traces of scratches and they were red. She said, "Someone savaged us fairies." Mom immediately gave her cream to put on the scratches on the faith healer's leg. While the faith healer was in the living room, she kept looking inside our house, as if she was looking for something. She said she felt like a mischievous creature and was walking around. I also looked around the house to find what she was talking about. Then I screamed because I saw the foot under the table where we were eating. There was no one sitting there, but the feet was under the table and it looked like her form was sitting on the chair. But nobody can be seen on the table. I was really horrified when I saw that. I couldn't imagine how she followed me home. Because I screamed. They couldn't stand it anymore. They decided to do the treatment outside the room. We moved to the living room. Faith healer held my head. As soon as she placed her palm on my head, I was already burning. I kept making her stop, because I felt like her hand would burn my head, like her palm was on fire. Her face showed a lot of worry after she finished examining me. She said that I have a spirit with me that can't be quiet, that it always follows me. She said she wanted to take my body because it was her body. She said I needed a cleanse as soon as possible before my body is stolen. Mom immediately called the pastor to do the cleansing for me. I was so scared because of what she said. I felt like I was going to faint. But I'm fighting it. My stomach feels like it's turning upside down, like I want to throw up. I can still hear what my mom said, that I was pale and sweating, so she asked my sister to get a wet towel and wipe me. I am relieved by what my mom does for me. When the pastor came, they made me lie down. He made me confess before praying for me. When his hand was on my head, I could feel the heat coming from there, but it didn't penetrate anymore, unlike the faith healer. While the pastor was doing that, I felt like a cold hand pulled my leg. Something cold is sinking into my skin, so I'm screaming. I can no longer concentrate on cleansing. I started to cry and screamed to remove the thorn from my foot. I also tried to remove it, but I can't touch anything that clings to me. I could hear the pastor's prayer, but there were mixed voices that I couldn't understand. She was laughing at pastor's prayers. I said,
Someone was laughing.
Then, the pastor said,
"You will only listen to my prayer."
I tried. I follow the pastor's prayers, that way, I can't hear the laughter. Because of that, the stabbing of something on my feet became more intense. My feet are numb, and I feel like whatever is stuck in my feet is dissolving. I can no longer concentrate on praying because of the intensity of the pain I feel. But the pastor made me concentrate again. He held both my ears and said,
"Listen to everything I have to say."
I forced myself to listen to him and join in his prayers, until little by little, I could feel the movement of my toes, even though something was still stinging. But somehow, I can move them. The laughter I hear is also gradually disappearing, until I could only hear the pastor's voice. Later, I felt someone holding my feet, so I looked there. It turns out that the faith healer is holding it. He caressed my feet, and it felt so good. Because my legs are getting weak. A few minutes later, they made me sit down, while the pastor continued to pray for me. I didn't realize that during the time they cleansed me, I fell asleep and dreamed. I saw the pair of feet, and I also see who owns them. It was a woman, wearing a white nun's dress. She was crying, and then came next to me. Then, holding onto the railings, she looked at me and asked if she would die if she jumped there. I said,
You won't die there, but you'll die in hell if you jump.
She was stunned by what I said. She removed her hands from holding the railings. She said,
I regretted committing suicide.
She won't do that anymore. Then he left, and still crying. That's when I saw the big cuts behind her knees. I watched her walk until she disappeared. I woke up crying and was greeted by the smiling face of my mother, faith healer, and pastor. It was a success that they cleansed me, because since then, I have not been bothered by a pair of feet, and my vitality has returned. Thanks to my mother, the faith healer, and the pastor, who helped me heal and drive away the evil spirit that joined me. My story will end here. Thank you very much for listening. More power to your YouTube channel. I'm your narrator, Kirsten. Many thanks to our listeners. If you are new to my channel, I invite you to subscribe and press the bell notification so that you are always updated on the videos I upload. If you have experienced horror stories, send them to our website. creepydubtv@gmail.com. And you might be lucky enough to be drawn and featured on this channel. Thank you very much, and see you next time.